how's it going, guys? So we are at Anaheim Regionals. I have with me
Sean.
And Sean, what were you playing today?
I was playing a really janky deck. Somehow made it through day one. I'm playing Golisopod Garbodor. You probably remember when it was in standard, right?
Right. So Golisopod Garbodor, it's a very good counter because there was a lot of hype to Blastoise, right? That was the mindset going into...
here in SoCal, at our cups and stuff, there was a lot of Blastoise, so I didn't want to just randomly lose to just when they pop off. So I wanted to play Golisopod for sure. Probably the more better variant people play is with Zoroark, obviously. But I really like Garbotoxin. I think Garbotoxin N is a very powerful comeback mechanic.
Right.
So I wanted a deck where I have a comeback mechanic with that, which is often you don't see in Expanded, right?
Exactly. All right.
That's why I chose to play.
Awesome. So we're gonna get into the deck and see the exact 60 you're playing today, okay?
So the Garb line, the pod line is pretty standard. It's 3/3. I'm also gonna show the Ditto because the Ditto is also a Wimpod or a Trubbish. Ditto is probably one of the most powerful cards in Expanded. We've seen how good it is, right?
In standard. Yeah.
But in Expanded, the stage ones are way more powerful than we have in Standard. So Ditto is our kind of like our floating as our fourth instead of playing a fourth.
It's like the Joker in our card of poker.
Exactly.
Or in our poker card deck.
This deck list is very tight. You can't fit everything, so it's greedy. So the Ditto is the most important basic to pull out. So I'm only playing 2 Trubbish because a lot of times my Ditto is my 3rd Trubbish.
Right.
And then my Garb line is 2 Trash Lanch and 1 Toxin. I couldn't fit a 2nd Toxin because you'll see later I really wanted to play Seismitoad.
Nice. And
so there's a split like this. Obviously, Trash Lanch has to be respected. So if you're playing against people that don't respect it, or you play against like maybe stall decks that have to like, max potion like the Wailord, stuff like that. Obviously, Trash Lanch punishes them. But obviously, the bread and butter is Garbotoxin in this deck.
Cool. And then I see that you're running Garbage Collection.
Yeah.
Lots of people are hyping up the Pound one because of the DCE. Was there a reason why you chose Garbage Collection over Pound?
I chose a 60 HP. It's worse versus Trevenant matchup. Obviously, Dice is 2 Silent Fear. I wanted to be able to hard retreat for 1, turn 1 if I had to, if I started and I didn't get a Float Stone. Garbage Collection also randomly helps versus the stall decks because if they're trying to mill you out, you can Garbage Collect your Stretcher, and I play Special Charge instead of Super Rod in my deck, so you can try to put stuff on top. Or I've had some games where I'm just dead drawing and I need to just put a supporter back on top. So Garbage Collection for me is my preferred in this list. So.
Cool, perfect.
Winner of TCG.
And then other standard things, it's just 2 Lele, it's pretty standard. Sudowoodo, because I need help. Like the Zoroark matchup is very hard, Skyfield. It's always an uphill battle. So you need Sudowoodo to slow their damage before you can lock them up with N. Usually I Sudowoodo in combination with Seismitoad, and I will punch them until they knock it out. And once they knock it out, I'll Garbotoxin end them, and then hopefully my board is set up or my Glissopods are set up, and I can just come in and just armor press until they're dead, because they can't one-shot you no matter what. Even when you turn off your Sudowoodo, they cannot one-shot you through armor press. So that's the basic setup how I like to go.
Nice.
And it's just 1 Coco. It's free retreat. It's a nice bridge of target when you just want to wimp out on the Wimpod to bring into a free retreater. This is probably a slot that you can, like, if you don't like this, this can technically be anything else, but I didn't mind having it playing today.
Nice.
Supporter lineup, the draw supporters are pretty standard. It's just 1 Colress. I'm not a Skyfield deck, so I can afford 1. It's double N because Garbotoxin N is the best combo in this deck. It's 2 Cynthia because sometimes you don't want to end them when you're ahead. And for me, it's 3 Juniper because sometimes I really need to dig. If I'm going to go for the turn 2 Quaking Punch, I need to dig for the DCE. So that's why it's a lineup like this. You can kind of mix it up if you're afraid to throw away resources. You can always mix it up and play more Cynthia or N. But this is what I'm comfortable with.
Nice.
The other supports are pretty standard. 2 Guzma. A lot of Expandex only play 1. I have to play 2 because I'm Golisopod. So I really want to reset my first impression. Yeah. Faba, the best thing in Expanded. You don't see it play in Standard because we don't have a oppressive format in Standard, but in Expanded, Faba is what you need. Yeah.
Once you get rid of 4 DCs on a Zoroark, they're done.
Like I mentioned earlier, my deck list is very tight. There's not a lot to fit in, so I'm not playing a Field Blower. I'm just playing Faba in this slot, so it's very greedy. But for me, it's the only way I can fit everything in there.
Nice.
The 1 Bridget, obviously for the turn 1 if you have the
pop off.
And then double Acerola because you're Golisopod. Because you can play also like a bad Toad Garb deck. So I play 2 Acerola, and also versus a Trevenant matchup, you need more hard Acerolas than the versus Seekers.
Nice.
And then just to go with the supporter lineup, you have 4 versus Seeker. Some people play 3 decks. I have to play 4. It's my cushion and expanded.
Right.
So go up. It's a pretty standard ball lineup. Obviously 4 Ultra Ball, but we have the 1 Heavy Ball. You don't see this that much. So Heavy Ball gets a lot of this deck. It gets Golisopod, it gets any Garbodor, it gets Wimpod, and it gets my Seismitoad. So that's why we're going with the Heavy Ball. It's just a wild card for most of the good stuff you want to tutor out. And you can't bridge it. If you bridge it Seismitoad, you can't get any other ones. So you don't want to do that. So you usually want to use like a Heavy Ball, Ultra Ball to get it.
Yeah.
The tool lineup is also greedy because there's no room. So I opt for 4 Float Stone and only 2 boost items. I'm playing Muscle Band in this one.
Over Choice Band?
Yeah. So Choice Band, it does mess up the math with Golisopod's GX attack on 180 HP Pokemon, but usually my beginning turns of setting up, I like the Quaking Punch. So usually the Quaking Punch makes up for any residual damage that I'll be missing. And I want a Muscle Band for the 1 prize attacker decks. We didn't have too much fighting here in day 1, but if I was playing against fighting, I would want to be able to first impression knock out Baby Buzzwole and things like that. And also it lets my Armor Press hit for 120 versus like other Trash Avalanche and just 1 prize 120 HP Pokemon. So this is like my preferred. You can obviously just play Choice Band, or if you can play, 3 boosts and 3 Float Stone. But for me, I wanted that Float Stone turn 1 if I start Trubbish or whatever I started with, I have to pivot. I have to get out. Or you saw I only have Tapu Koko with 3 retreat, so if I don't get this, or I need something, I need something to promote that I can retreat, or if I need a Guzma, I have to have 4 Float Stones. So that's for me.
That's where you're comfortable.
And the rest is just a bunch of 1-ups. It's just 1 stretcher, 1 special charge, because you see the energy lineup is all special basically. So I'm playing these 2. The problem is this isn't as great because a lot of people are playing Faba, so this I might replace later, but for now I felt if I had the Juniper early and get rid of DCEs or blend energies, I wanted something that can put them back.
Nice.
We're playing this, it's kind of a bad card, no one plays it, we're playing a Life Forest. So I wanted 1 counter stadium, and randomly if I play against something like Blastoise, they don't play a counter stadium, so they can't blow or Faba it. And what's funny is this actually helped me out. I didn't have to use it, but I played against Shocklock day 1, and randomly it heals all conditions, as well as 60 on one of the grass Pokemon. So it's really random, so it might help sometimes. But like in this deck, so I'm like Golisopod, I can't run a card like Parallel City.
Right.
So I wanted like just Stadium to bump the Sky Field.
Yeah.
So I'm just playing this because it doesn't help them, basically.
Nice.
And the last one was on my A spec. It's another weird one. Usually people play the good ones. I'm playing Scoop Up Cyclone. Once again, this won me 3 games actually in day 1. Scoop Up Cyclone because there are turns where you want to Guzma or draw supporter and heal. So this is the only way I can do it in this deck. So Scoop Up Cyclone is that. And there are also times where I have to get greedy, and sometimes my active Golisopod, I have to put Float Stone on it, or I'm about to Juniper, I need to put the tools on something. And if I'm going for the Garbotoxin luck later, randomly sometimes I've done it day 1 a lot, not so much day 2, but I Scoop Up Cyclone like an active damage like Golisopod to get back the Float Stone, and then put that one on the Garbotoxin. So
and then set up the Garb.
Yeah. So obviously a lot of people rather have like consistency cards, so that's probably better. But for me, I don't have like Execute. I don't have disposable stuff to really utilize like Dowsing Machine and things like that. Like, or if I draw a Computer Search opening hand, obviously if my hand is dead, it's better, but I don't have the luxury of throwing away cards whenever I want to. So playing Scoop Up Cyclone. And
I think this the Scoop Up Cyclone was a great choice because it combos well with like your whole deck. So it lets you position your Pokemon where you want them to be to get efficient knockouts when necessary. So
and it's funny to mention, so it's like obviously it's a healing card, it's a Ghetto Switch card, and also there was one match I just used it to bring back Lele to just Wonder Tag for another supporter. So in like if you're gonna Computer Search for a supporter, it's like a ghetto way to do it. So it's not as bad, but like people got, it's funny, I always get the shifty eyes when I play Scoop Up Cyclone, And the last is just the energy lineup. It's pretty standard. We have 4 DCE for Toad and and
Golisopod,
Crossing Cut and Energy Drive. Oh, I forgot to mention also, I'm playing Muscle Band because with Lele Energy Drive, you can knock out all the little basics. You can knock out Zaruas, things like that if you're going second. So that's why I opt for Muscle Band over Choice Band. You have 2 Grass because of Faba, but sometimes it's not enough if they're playing like Plumeria and things like that. And obviously 4 Blend because we have this Blend and Expanded. So obviously it has Grass and Psychic,
which is
for Trash Avalanche that. And even 1 game versus Trev, I put it on Lele and I actually just
healed.
Tapu Cure. So
nice.
that's a pretty.
Cool. So that's the list right there, guys. Right, so that was the list right there. What was one of your toughest matches of day one?
Day one is Trev.
Trev?
I got lucky enough to only run into one Trev, but the problem is he was playing the version with 4 red card and Morty. So our game went to time because game 3, he wasn't winning the game, but he was stopping me from playing the game.
Right.
So I felt really good because on my turn 1, I got a Trubbish and a Toll on it, which usually is pretty good because that version only plays Fabas to a Snow Blower. So if I get a Garbotoxin, it's going to stick for a while. But every time I use a draw supporter, he red carded away. When I top deck a new one, I couldn't find Toxin because I have to hard draw it because he has, the Trevenant out. So he just kept red carding me, and then obviously our game, like when time got called, he has a bunch of 1 prize attackers. I can't take them all in time, so that was one of my hardest matchups for sure, because this deck's not well equipped as like the Zoroark decks, to deal with.
To deal with the 1 prizers,
or Trev in general.
So what was one of the best plays that you did this weekend? Like one of your MVP combos?
There was one, I believe it was like round 6. It was game 3 versus Zoroark Garb, Skyfield. If you guys don't know or when this video posts, this probably was the most played deck, I think. This weekend for sure. And day 2 has probably the highest representative, things like that. So I'm playing that game 3. Game 2, I won the first game because it was kind of a grindy one because I had to grind them out with healing.
Right.
So it's game 2, time gets called. So when time got called, I was just kind of playing not to lose. So what happened was he was going to take a knockout on my active. He has 2 prizes left. And so I promoted a 1 prizer. And so he ends us and resets our hand.
Right.
I don't draw anything out of it. And he one-shot, he knocks out my Garbodor because I was trying to trash the latch.
Right.
To get over his attackers. So all I have is I have 2 Lele's, a Golisopod, and a Sudowoodo left on my bench.
Ooh.
And for my turn, I draw that stupid Scoop Up Cyclone.
Nice.
So what happened is I left the Golisopod active because he had 3 energy, and all I did was Scoop Up Cyclone
the Golisopod? Or
no, the Sudowoodo. So I had no 1 prize things for him to take the last 1 prize, and I just armor pressed, and he couldn't.
He couldn't get over that.
He couldn't, and he didn't have enough. He couldn't full bench to. There was no Skyfield for him to knock out the Lele. So
nice.
Like I wouldn't say that's a good play, but just like that's randomly, I just won my game by accident with that card. So
that's actually really good. But yeah. All right. Well, thank you so much, Sean, for being on the channel. It's a pleasure to have you. Guys, thank you guys for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you haven't already. Make sure to share the video with anybody that wants to see a good Golisopod Garb deck for expanded. Guys, with that said, thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.
Shout out to my sponsors, Gem Playmats. They're awesome. Buy their playmats.
Yeah, check them out, guys. Actually, they make some really good 2-player playmats, so check them out, and probably link in the description for you guys if you want to get there. But yeah, thank you guys, and see you guys next time.